If you're looking for a meticulously designed and feature-rich bag to go on top of your rear rack for bike touring, minimalist bike pack racing, or even deep winter fat bike expeditions, you're gonna be glad you clicked on this video. I'm gonna take you through a first look and all the details, tech, and specs of the newly released trio of bikepacking rack bags from Ride Forward Designs. Ride Forward Designs is the brainchild of elite bikepacking racer and gravel cycling Hall of Famer Jay Petervary. I know Jay pretty well, and one of the reasons we get along so well is we're both gear nerds. He's always looking for ways to improve his setup, so he's constantly tinkering and scheming and refining and testing and pushing his gear to the limits. And after years of tweaking and improving and consulting on gear made by other companies, he decided to throw some skin in the game. All the bags are handmade in small batches with love right here in Idaho. And if you want to score one for yourself after watching this video, I've got a link for you in the video description. The bags all feature single-sided roll-top closures, and for now, they're tentatively named the J-Bag, the J-Bag XL, and the Big Easy. First up is the J-Bag. This one is geared towards the ultralight crowd of serious bikepacking racers out there. If Jay's racing, this is probably the one he's using. And if you saw the recent video I posted of Jacob Ora on the Atlas Mountain Race, he had a prototype J-Bag strapped to his tail fin rack, and he also took it to the Hellenic Mountain Race. After those back-to-back beatdowns, Jacob came home with nothing but positive feedback. The J-Bag weighs in at 134 grams on my scale, and it measures roughly 15 inches long by 7 inches wide by 6 inches high when filled with gear. This gives it an internal storage capacity around 7 liters, assuming you get 3 rolls before you click it closed. For example, I stuffed my Arizona Trail Race sleep kit in it. This includes my sleeping quilt, a lightweight bivvy, a pillow, and my Ghost Whisperer puffy jacket. All of this fits in nice and easy with 4 or 5 rolls at the closure. You'll notice there's a nifty little Velcro tab here, which helps keep the contents from popping out while you load it. But I noticed right away that I've got to be careful when I'm sliding in my ultralight sleeping bag, or there's a chance the male Velcro could snag it, which wouldn't be good. Before I even had a chance to mention it to Jay, he told me the newest batch of these bags will employ magnets instead, which will do the same job while allowing your gear to slide in and out easier without potential for accidental damage. I'll show you the magnets in a sec when I discuss the bigger bags, but it shows just how much thought he's putting into every little feature that most people won't even notice. And it also highlights how easily it is to implement improvements quickly with small batches of production. In addition to the internal storage, there's external options too. The top of the bag is laced with a bungee cord so you can strap on an extra layer of clothing for easy access, or even some extra pizza slices if you want. There's also a couple loops up top that'll act as guides to lace your ski straps through, and it also mitigates any fore-aft movement for some extra peace of mind that your bag won't somehow slip out in rough terrain without you noticing. May sound overkill to you, but this is always a fear of mine. Jay also added an additional loop on the back in case you want to mount your blinky light to it. Then there's a mesh pouch on one side and a pocket with a bellowed flap on the other side. You can use these to store extra snacks or spare batteries, trash and food wrappers, a spot tracker, you name it. The bottom of the bag features a grippy rubberized Hypalon material that is highly abrasion resistant, so you won't risk ripping a hole in it when it has friction against your rack. There's also some strategic holes and daisy chain webbing, so you can mount this bag directly on your handlebars or with handlebar cradles and other mounting systems. Not too shabby. The chosen material of the bag itself is Challenge Outdoor Ultra 200 denier fabric. If you're not familiar with it, Ultra uses a tight weave of UHM WPE, also known as ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. In layman's terms, it's super strong and extremely resistant to cuts and tears and abrasion while remaining ultra light without stretching. UHM WPE is sometimes branded as Dyneema or Spectra, and it's the same stuff that Bird uses in their revolutionary ultralight bike spokes. And yes, the fabric is also highly waterproof, and the J-Bag has taped seams, so you're totally protected. I'm telling you right now, no expense was spared with construction of this bag. Even the mesh pocket is made of Venom ultralight 4-way stretch mesh, which also employs UHM WPE ripstop grid. This means there's less chance for snags and rips and a longer lifespan for the pouch overall. The J bag is priced at $150, but you'll need to supply your own ski straps or mounting straps of your choice. If you're curious, I mounted this one to my rack with standard 24-inch Volet ski straps, and they work great. Next up is the J Bag XL, which is basically a larger 3-season version of the J Bag with a few minor tweaks. First off, the dimensions are approximately 18 inches long by 8.5 inches wide by 8 inches high when it's packed out, with an internal capacity of approximately 11 liters with 3 rolls of the closure. I threw in the exact same sleep kit and puffy jacket I had in the smaller J bag, but I also added a rain jacket, rain knickers, a spare long sleeve base layer, and a spare pair of warm gloves. And even with the extra gear, I still had plenty of room for more layers and some snacks, no problem. And it has the magnetic closure I told you about instead of the Velcro. It's super slick, and again, the small bag should be coming with the magnets by the time you order yours. On my scale, the J Bag XL comes in at 218 grams, and the price tag is $170. With that said, the weight of the newer batch of bags might go up just slightly because this one is made from Challenge Ultra 100D material, which is slightly lighter than the Ultra 200 fabric, but moving forward, the J Bag XL will feature the same 200D as the smaller J Bag. There's barely any weight penalty, and it's a little more rugged to handle the rigors of whatever you throw at it. Other than that, it has the Hypalon bottom to resist abrasion, tape seams to keep it waterproof, the loop on the back for the blinky light, and the loops to run your straps through. Instead of one mesh pocket and one pocket with a bellowed flap, both sides have mesh pockets. They're a little bigger and include draw closures and cord locks. In addition to the bungee cord on top, there's also a removable strap that spans across the 2 mesh pockets. This adds another place to lash something and more security to your mesh pockets, so nothing's gonna fly out if you overstuff them. On the next batch, this removable strap will be upgraded to feature G-hooks. Last but not least is the Big Easy. And by the way, it already includes G-hooks on the removable strap, which makes it much easier to detach and reattach. Again, Jay's always looking to make subtle improvements whenever possible. As far as I know, this is the only purpose-built rack bag designed specifically for winter fat biking expeditions. Think Iditarod, Arrowhead, Fat Pursuit, and stuff like that. I've been using an Osprey pack liner for a while, which has been fine, but this thing is on a whole nother level. The price tag is $180 and it holds around 50 liters depending how many times you roll the buckle before closing. It's strategically designed to fit your typical 20-inch by 72-inch Thermarest foam pad with your sleeping bag stuffed in the middle. For reference, I put my pad and my negative 25-degree Fahrenheit bag inside with a pillow. I got 7 to 8 rolls with the closure and could definitely fit an Expedition Puffy and some more stuff in there if needed. When loaded with my sleep kit, the dimensions are 24 inches long by 12.5 inches wide and 11 inches tall, and the bag weighs 349 grams on my scale. It's basically a JPEG XL on steroids with Venom mesh pockets on both sides and a bungee cord running the full length of the top of the bag. Very nice. The most notable difference between the Big Easy and the J bags is the material. On a bag this big, and for what it's being used for, the Ultra 200D is unnecessary and it would have made it ridiculously expensive. So Jay opted for Hyper D 300, which has a softer feel and it's easier to purge air from while stuffing than the Ultra fabric. Not to mention it's still very light. It features a 300 denier diamond grid fabric, which is incredibly rugged, and it has a DWR durable water repellent coating. However, the seams are not taped on this bag, so you can't call it completely waterproof. But for the deep winter expeditions this bag is intended for, rain shouldn't pose an issue anyway. Also, with the 300D fabric and the nature of fat biking on snow in general, Jay felt the Hypalon bottom would have been overkill, but since the bag is so big, he did add a stiffener in the closure to make it easier to stuff and roll up. And instead of strap loops up top, there's daisy chain webbing along both sides for you to run your straps through. With all that said, I've had this bag on my bike for a couple weeks now, and it's a keeper. if I were heading off on the ITI, this puppy would definitely be coming with me. So there you have it, a quick run through of the new versatile and well-conceived series of Ride Forward rack bags. The real question is, are any of these gonna find a place in your bikepacking arsenal? Let's hear what you've got to say down in the comments, and as always, thank you for joining me. Until next time, ride bikes, give back, pay it forward.